Good morning, YouTube. Today we're going to try something a little bit different. This is actually excerpts from me working on my motorcycle, and I've decided to teach myself how to weld. And so this is me welding on a bracket to hold my bobber style spring seat on my Honda Shadow. It's replacing this kind of janky screwed on model that, as you can see, I'm trying to figure out how to get the screws out right now. And this is also going to coincide with my review of an absolutely terrible book, but I figured I would try something different as far as background goes instead of looking at my mug. So anyway, the welder that I'm using is a flux core welder from Harbor Freight. If you're new to automotive YouTube, Harbor Freight is where everybody seems to get their tools from, and I'm no exception. So I spend a lot of time at Harbor Freight. I love their tools. They're pretty easygoing, and as you can see, I finally just get pissed off and start cutting at it, which is fine. There we go. I am left with a hole in it, and later on in the video you are going to see me remove my taillight, and I really should have done it at this point. But hindsight is what it is. Let's see. There we go. That's what I was doing. Okay. So yeah, you grab onto that piece, unscrew it, get the bolt off, and then you use a small screwdriver to get the bolt all the way out. Anyway, the wonderful, terrible, awful book that I really wish I could get 4.5 hours of my life back. I'm very glad I found it for free on YouTube. I will link it down to the link it in the description below, because nobody should have to pay for this book. This book is absolute garbage. It is the 5 love languages, and here is the cover. Alright, so as mentioned before, I'll link a copy of this thing for free down in the description below where I found it, because the author does not deserve your money. This book is complete and utter, just not good advice. So we're going to do with some of the good takeaways. This book is simply made for long-term relationships, I'd say a year or more. If you're into short-term or mid-term dating, completely skip this book. This book is completely and utterly useless to you. I actually think this book serves more of a purpose to employers. So if you're a boss and you have to manage a bunch of people, I think this book is right up your alley. This book covers 5 main love languages. Basically, how you communicate your appreciation. That starts with words of affirmation. This type is easy. We'll call this type the good boy type. Like a dog that lives for praise, this type lives for kind words. Acts of service. This type lives for action. So in the book, they use doing the dishes as an example. For the record, don't do this. But it could be anything. Checking tire pressure on your car, changing the oil, etc. Receiving gifts. buying them stuff. Physical touch. This is self-explanatory. Not sure on the work application of this one, but in a relationship, this is easy. Quality time. This one is pretty easy to figure out. Go spend time with the person. One-on-one time type thing. So, in the book, he goes into detail about each one and how to implement them into a relationship. His idea on how to implement them are simply terrible. Destining you to failure if you do this. But, again, there is some good to be had from this. Figuring out your partner's love language and adding it to your arsenal is a good idea. Just for God's sakes, don't walk in and go, is your love tank full? That's a terrible idea. You must demonstrate, not explicate, to quote Rollo. He set a boundary. Don't tell her this is your boundary. Don't cross it. Tell her, I don't like it when you do this. When they do that, punish her. Whatever that punishment might be. Soft necks, hard necks, depending on what it is. As an example, say you're working on getting into an exclusive relationship with a female, and you say, I don't date girls who go to bars and clubs. She goes to a bar one night. You don't talk to her for a week or two. And you now downgraded her from main chick to a Tuesday nights only. This is a soft next. You absolutely do not wait for her to get home and talk about it. That is not how this works. That is a terrible idea, and that's what this guy is pontificating on. It's a terrible thing. Anyway, back to the welding. As you can see, I have finished welding. The welds actually are trash. I've since learned how to do them much better. And I might cut it off and redo the welds, but it's holds, and that's all that really matters. Anyway, back to the book. Strangely, I think this book is more for employers who have underlings than for married people. I might go into my history one day on this. I may not. I don't know yet. It depends on what happens with this channel. But anyway. Oh, apparently I'm finishing off that. And I really need to learn to wear proper eye protection whenever I'm doing these things. I don't think my glasses offer that good of eye protection. Anyway, that's it for today. Enjoy watching me spray paint this and getting everything else set up. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you guys on the next one.